Imagine if you could lower your cancer risk without buying any supplements, without detox teas, and without miracle foods, just by cutting back on a few things you probably eat every week. Because here's the truth, cancer isn't fed by one single ingredient. But certain foods and habits can push your body in the wrong direction over time: more inflammation, more insulin spikes, more harmful compounds, and more weight gain, which is strongly linked to many cancers. Today I'm giving you the 10 worst offenders, common foods that research consistently ties to higher cancer risk, and I'll tell you what to eat instead so this doesn't feel impossible. And stay to the end, because number 1 is the most common, normal, habit that quietly stacks risk without people realizing it. Quick note before we start: no single food causes cancer by itself. Risk is about patterns, how often, how much, and what your overall lifestyle looks like. If you eat one of these once in a while, don't panic. The goal is to stop letting these foods be your default. Let's start with something most people don't even count as food. Sugary drinks. Soda, sweet tea, energy drinks, fancy coffees loaded with syrup, even fruit punches that look healthy. The big issue is that liquid sugar is incredibly easy to overconsume. It spikes blood sugar fast, adds a lot of calories without making you full, and over time it's strongly linked with weight gain. And excess body fat is not just a cosmetic issue. Major public health sources point out that being overweight or having obesity is associated with higher risk of multiple cancers. The CDC says, being overweight or having obesity are associated with a higher risk of getting 13 types of cancer. That's a massive number. So with sugary drinks, the cancer connection is often indirect: more sugar drinks easier weight gain, higher risk. What to do instead? Water, sparkling water, unsweetened tea, or if you need flavor, add lemon, cucumber, or a splash of 100% juice. Next, ultra-processed snack foods. Think chips, packaged pastries, candy bars, instant noodles, sugary cereals, and snacks engineered to be hyper-tasty. These foods tend to be low in fiber, high in refined starches, added sugars, and fats that make it easy to eat past fullness. And there's also research looking at ultra-processed foods directly. A large French cohort study published in the BMJ found that a 10% increase in the proportion of ultra-processed foods in the diet was associated with higher overall cancer risk and higher breast cancer risk. The authors reported a hazard ratio of about 1.12 per 10% increase, meaning roughly a 12% increase in relative risk in that dataset. Now, that doesn't prove ultra-processed foods cause cancer on their own, but it's a strong signal that the more your diet becomes industrial, packaged, and fiber-poor, the worse the long-term outcomes look. The swap: choose minimally processed snacks, fruit, nuts, yogurt, popcorn, or simple homemade options. Number 8. Fast food combo habits. This is a pattern more than a single item: refined bun, processed or fried meat, fries, sugary drink, and often a dessert. It's the perfect storm. High calories, low fiber, low micronutrients, and very easy to repeat multiple times a week. Again, the big link here is weight gain and metabolic stress, which connects to higher cancer risk across many types. A better move isn't never eat fast food again. It's break the combo. Keep one item you love, but swap the drink for water, or swap fries for a side salad, or choose grilled instead of fried when possible. Number 7. Refined grains as a daily default. White bread, many crackers, pastries, and a lot of white starches. The problem isn't that these are poison. It's that they push out fiber-rich foods that support your gut and help regulate blood sugar. For colon health in particular, fiber matters. Major evidence reviews from the World Cancer Research Fund have found the overall evidence is consistent with decreased colorectal cancer risk with dietary fiber intake. So the move is simple: if you eat bread, try whole grain more often. If you eat pasta, mix in whole wheat sometimes. Add beans or lentils a few times a week. It's about upgrading the pattern. Number 6. Charred and heavily blackened meats, anything cooked until it's burnt. This is where we get into actual chemical compounds formed during cooking. The U.S. National Cancer Institute explains that heterocyclic amines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons can form when muscle meat is cooked at high temperatures like pan frying or grilling over an open flame. And they state, In laboratory experiments, HCAs and PAHs have been found to be mutagenic, that is, they cause changes in DNA. That's important because DNA damage is one pathway to cancer development. Real-life risk depends on frequency and overall habits, but this is an easy fix: don't eat the blackened parts. Cook at slightly lower temperatures, flip meat more often, use marinades, and balance your plate with vegetables. Number 5. Very salty preserved foods as an everyday habit. Think heavily salted preserved meats, some pickled or cured foods, and high-sodium preserved products eaten frequently. High salt intake has been linked to stomach cancer risk in some research, especially when it contributes to chronic irritation of the stomach lining. I'm not saying your pickles are going to give you cancer. I'm saying if your diet is heavily preserved and salty most days, it's worth dialing back. A simple swap. Choose fresh proteins more often, look for lower sodium options, and use herbs, garlic, lemon, and spices for flavor instead of relying on heavy salt. Number 4. Alcohol. This is one of the strongest, clearest links in cancer prevention nutrition. The WHO's Europe office says it plainly: even small amounts of alcohol increase the risk of cancer. And it's not just one cancer type. Major cancer prevention organizations list increased risks for several cancers, including breast and colorectal. If you drink, the safest move for cancer prevention is, less is better. You don't need to label it, never again. But if it's a regular habit, especially daily, cutting back is one of the highest impact steps you can take. Number 3. Deep-fried foods, especially when oils are reused and heated repeatedly. Fried foods are calorie-dense and easy to overeat, which ties back into weight gain. But also, repeatedly heating oils can create compounds you don't want more of. The practical move is not to fear a once-in-a-while treat. The move is to stop making fried food your default cooking method. Try oven baking, pan-searing with a small amount of oil, or air frying. And when you do fry, use fresh oil and avoid burning it. Number 2. Processed meats. This one has the strongest global scientific consensus. In 2015, the International Agency for Research on Cancer, part of the World Health Organization, classified processed meat as carcinogenic to humans, Group 1, and stated that the working group concluded eating processed meat causes colorectal cancer. In their press release, they noted that each 50-gram portion of processed meat eaten daily was associated with an 18% higher risk of colorectal cancer in the data they reviewed. They also emphasized that for an individual the risk remains small, but it increases with the amount consumed. Processed meat includes bacon, sausages, hot dogs, deli meats, and many cured meats. Uncured often still counts as processed; it can still be preserved and treated. And notice what major organizations recommend. The American Cancer Society says, it's best to avoid processed meat, and if you do choose to eat it, do so sparingly. So what do you eat instead? Fresh chicken or turkey, fish, eggs, beans, lentils, tofu, or home-cooked meats that aren't cured and preserved. Now number 1, the most common pattern that quietly stacks risk, because it doesn't feel extreme. It's the ultra-processed, low-fiber lifestyle pattern: processed meats plus refined carbs plus sugary drinks, repeated over and over, week after week. The reason this is number 1 is that it hits multiple pathways at the same time. It can drive weight gain, and again, public health sources stress the connection between excess weight and higher risk of many cancers. It often reduces fiber intake, and fiber-rich patterns are consistently associated with better colon health in major evidence reviews. And it often includes more processed meats, which global cancer experts have already flagged as a clear risk factor for colorectal cancer. So here's the empowering part: you don't need perfection. You need a system. Try this simple, 2-swap rule, for the next 7 days. Keep your meal, but swap 2 things. Swap 1, the drink. Replace soda or sweet tea with water or unsweetened tea. Swap 2, the side. Replace fries or chips with something that adds fiber: fruit, beans, salad, vegetables, or whole grains. If you want a simple plate guideline, aim for a protein you can recognize, plus at least one high-fiber food, plus color, something green, red, orange, or purple. The goal is to make ultra-processed food the exception, not the base of your diet. Also, don't ignore cooking style. If you grill, grill smarter. The National Cancer Institute notes high-heat cooking can form HCAs and PAHs, so avoid heavy charring, flip often, and cut off blackened bits. Let me be clear, none of this replaces medical care, screening, or talking with your doctor, especially if cancer runs in your family or you have symptoms. But the science is very consistent on one big idea. Your everyday pattern matters. And when you change the pattern, you change the direction. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these foods or habits surprised you the most? Sugary drinks, ultra-processed snacks, alcohol, processed meats, or the grilling issue? Drop it in the comments using just one word: drinks, snacks, alcohol, meat, or grill. And if you want the follow-up video, 10 foods that may help lower cancer risk. With practical swaps and a simple grocery list, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it.